世上走比只此各一半。有色渲染是旅途，韵味被私藏，而你嫣然的一笑如含苞待放，你的美一缕飘散，去到我去不了的地方。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。炊烟袅袅升起，隔江千万里，在平地树根里放前朝的飘逸，就当我为遇见你伏笔。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局，如传世的青蛙，自自顾自美丽，你眼的笑意。色白花青的锦衣，跃然于万地，临摹松铁落款时却惦记着你。你隐藏在窑烧里千年的秘密，气息里犹如绣花针落地。帘外芭蕉惹骤雨，梦幻惹童女。我路过那江南小镇的等你，在泼墨山水画里，你从墨色深处被隐去。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。炊烟袅袅升起，隔江千万里，在平地树根里放前朝的飘逸，就当我为遇见你伏笔。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局，如传世的青蛙，自自顾自美丽，你眼的笑意。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。炊烟袅袅升起，隔江千万里，在平地树根里放前朝的飘逸，就当我为遇见你伏笔。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局，如传世的青蛙，自自顾自美丽，你眼的笑意。
我觉得目前版本上路偏强势的英雄就是有两种吧，一种就是那种长手的发育能力很强的英雄，像杰斯蓝枪、阿克尚这种，还有另一种就是近战战士型的这种英雄，像卡梅尔、武器、格温这种。
There are two sides of a coin, two sides of every matchup, two things that you can decide. There's only one thing that happened in that game. Ming popped off. Ming's your player of the game. That's all I gotta say. I don't know where I was going.
I have no idea where you're going with that. I'm not even sure the relevance.
I was watching the interview and I was reading, obviously, and he was talking about, oh yeah, there's two types of champions in top. You got like heavy farmers, you got your melee engages, and I was like, what can I do with this? Not a lot, but we'll try. We'll move forward and see what we can do with the blue pill or the red pill, the farmer or the engage. That's where I should have went. But yes.
Completely ignore that.
Forward.
Ming, really solid play. We saw the Caitlyn Lux left open. We saw them targeted. The aggressive Nautilus pick, consistently finding those engages. Sometimes a little bit overzealous, but there were often opportunities where he set up the plays and he was the one initiating. So just solid play for Ming, and the confidence we see from this player to go up against the Caitlyn Lux, knowing that they can formulate these plays and punish the bot lane. Moments like this, catching out WBG when he was locked into his Peacemaker animation, so he can't net away.
Yeah, big moments there that really did solidify that bot lane lead that eventually led to Gala being just a monster. And I'm always an advocate for some support love, you know, some move. And this is here, like, he just fully commits and says, no, we keep going, we can keep doing this. I just need to get you in shockwave range. And he just constantly fishing led to that, you know, kill onto Uakai. And then when your Corki's dead, there's not really a lot of follow-up damage. And yes, the Gwen is still great, but what else can they do? You can see once that immunity goes, they are so squishy.
Yeah, I mean, really catching as many people as possible. And that's the thing, is like, often we see Nautilus, like, sometimes if a team lacks AoE engage, they can struggle relying on just a Nautilus because he's very single target. It just felt like the consistency of hitting these dredge lines, landing the ult on a key target, it felt like they had more than enough to deal with these longer range threats.
More than enough. And again, like we said, best we've probably seen from RNG so far, the split in terms of just dominating their opponents. And that's what we want to see from these guys on a consistent basis. Can they continue it into game 2? We'll have to see. They are back on the red side. It is still IG on the blue, but IG, they got to figure out something, because that Corki first pick just didn't really give them the impact they wanted. And again, yes, we'd Shun or bust, but Shun wasn't really able to do much past the 10-minute mark, like we mentioned.
Well, what I like is I'm not a big fan of the Victor pick on the Corki mid, because he can apply some pressure, but I think a lot of people haven't really been doing it enough. I think if you can make it happen, like when we saw Xiaohu against Gory, that's the sort of thing you want. But this is Xiaohu bringing out the Orianna, like the Vex, Syndra, and Zoe were banned. They put so many bans to try and make Uakai have a comfortable laning phase, and he still got bullied out. Took a while for the Corki really to become relevant, and then we have the Jace putting down so much poke. I think RNG's just draft made sense on so many levels. Despite the fact IG had power pick, RNG had the right setup and the right lane matchups.
Right setup, right lane matchup, but this time around is IG saying we cannot give the Corki away and seeing what they can ban away. Honestly, I don't even think this is a real big problem for the side of RNG. I think you ban LeBlanc again. I think you give the same bans you did in game 1 and you just get rid of all these massive AP threats, so Shun and the rest of IG can't play around those. No,
Lee Sin ban. So, you know, I swear, Shun had a good game, right? That was the one thing that really went in favor of IG, was the Lee Sin gameplay, challenging in the skirmishes. So I'm not against that one being banned away. And now we can see what IG look to prioritize here. They could take the Zins out themselves, look to deny that one, but they actually want to go for that Aphelios in the bot lane, denying that away from Gala. We will see him on something else, which is a bit of a rarity. I think RNG, you can just take the Zins out in this situation. You can just pick that up for your jungler and then probably match AD carry and then leave your third pick to sort of deal with some of the pick something in a different area. But I don't think you want to reveal too much, because you really haven't seen much of what IG is committing to.
And neither team really went towards that Thresh in the first game, but I feel like RNG may go towards it now, because Thresh and Jinx and denying it away from the Aphelios, again, gives you so much priority. And we saw how much of a presence they can give into that bot side to get Gala ahead, to put him on a pedestal to say, you will do the damage. And Gala is performing. Again, I say this time and time again, I feel like Gala is just becoming one of, you know, one of the better AD carries we have in this league. He's definitely in the top 5, you know, creeping towards the top 3. We'll see if he's able to do again what he did in game 1, now that he's on the Jinx.
Yeah, and they deny the Thresh. Thresh really good with the Aphelios, really great pairing, but also works well with the Jinx to add the element of safety. IG, they just take the Zins out. We passed over time and time again, and then they will also lock in that Victor, so we'll see what RNG want to pick. I think they could take, they have choices between basically jungler or mid here. Do they want to prioritize something for Xiao to answer the Victor? They're going to opt for the Viego, sorry. We have those big 4 junglers, right? Jarvan, Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, and Viego. With one of them taken, 2 of them banned, it kind of meant you had to take Viego there or lose it. I think here you just ban supports, right? Nautilus often picked into the Thresh as a good matchup. That one's going to go. IG, you can just look towards mid laners. Anything you're concerned about Xiaohu bringing to the matchup, actually, not even going to go that direction. They're going to buy away the Jace from Bin, which I think is a good call.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is a great call from the side of IG. I feel like it's just, there's not enough bans to ban out Xiaohu's champion pool. He has too many options. He has too many things he's so good at. And we haven't even gotten to the fringe picks like Lucian yet. So a lot obviously would be very difficult considering the picks they have so far. But these are the things that can work. And with the Gwen, the Jace, I wouldn't be honestly surprised to see maybe a Camille ban coming out here for IG.
Yeah, I think you can set yourself up for that one. Anything you'd be really concerned about in potentially bringing out that he could either have counter pick on, because I think mid lane is going to be that next pick for RNG, and then they'll leave counter pick for Bin to be in a really comfortable position.
We haven't seen it in a very long time, but I would love to see Lucas back on the Bard. Last time we saw it, it was a win. It's actually a lot of wins. It's one of his most played champions historically. He's 17-3 on the champion. I just want to see Lucas give something to Xiao Yuji that he can look and be impactful on. That's what I want coming out of this bot side, as we now see RNG hovering with the idea of a couple of different things. The Camille was banned away, like we mentioned, but now you have the pick of the litter. The Vex is available. The LeBlanc, which was banned away by RNG in game 1, could be the option here. And yeah, they're going to lock it and load it. So basically, Xiaohu's saying anything Yukai can do, I can do better.
Well, the big thing with the LeBlanc is that you pose so much threat to the Victor being immobile. It's really going to make mid lane hard to deal with. Now, we'll see what IG want to take. Gragas is a great blind in the current patch in the top lane. Provides decent peel, but also a potential engage threat. So I'd be fine with that. The real interesting one's going to be the support pick. I feel like, you know, Thresh tends to be a good match on Leon, and the dynamics changed a bit by Glacial Augment, but I'm not sure how stellar it would be here. We could see an Enchanter pick up here, honestly. We could see them go for something like the Lulu in this situation. They're actually going to go for the Seraphine, so not quite, but similar, right? That really strong scaling pick, the AoE shielding, the big charm that can connect with multiple people. This is IG committing heavily to the team fight, and we'll see what RNG want to opt in here. I feel like Bin could potentially take something that he's comfortable on the top side. Against the Gragas, you're pretty easy to scale on, so you know, Graves would make complete sense to be a fine lane and then would become pretty monstrous later on.
Yeah, and this is a career first for Lucas. This is going to be the first time we've ever seen him at this level with the Seraphines. So big moment for him. See if it's able to work it. I won't say I'm not disappointed that we didn't get the Bard, because I do love me some Bard play, but not to be happening this time around. And it's going to be the Graves locked and loaded. So you will have pressure in this top side, but I feel like the Gragas is becoming that catch-all in top lane, because you can mitigate it and you can also diverse, be very diverse with your build path as well. So a lot of options here for IG, and again, I don't think they have bad engage. I think they actually have a fantastic one, but whether or not they can get it rolling for them is the big question.
I think that's a big thing, right? Their scaling is excellent. I mean, that's pretty distinctly obvious, and the team fight is going to be really strong, right? 2 strong backline carries, 2 good frontliners. They have the Seraphine act as an enchanter on top. Really will hold up well in the late game. The problem is looking at the early pressure, and I'm particularly worried about this mid lane matchup, right? We saw last game Xiaohu really applying the pressure. This isn't even potentially more punishing matchup. The 1v1 isn't necessarily the most major thing, but it's the fact that any time Xiaohu can just dash forward, land a chain, if Wei's there, if Ming's there, the Victor's dead. And then you just repeat that, and suddenly you have all this pressure around mid. We saw last game Ming moving mid to set up vision control. If that happens again, it'll be like this big pocket of pressure, this black hole that just bleeds out over the map, and IG will really struggle to regain control. So it's about stabilizing the early game for IG. RNG lets the Xiaohu move, set up for control of mid, and he will take over the game.
It's about, again, we've seen this time and time again, RNG relying on Xiaohu to, as you mentioned, take over the game. Put themselves back up on the top of the table, get themselves a 4-1 scoreline, and a 2-0 today, a convincing 2-0 at that, would be a great way to start it. For IG, it's about making this competitive. You know there are weaknesses in RNG, there are ways of getting in underneath their armor, you just got to find a way to crack it, and you have options, you have ways of doing that. It's all about whether or not RNG will let you. As we jump onto the Rift for the second time of this best of 3, RNG 1-0 up, IG looking to try and make that a 1-1. Or if RNG are going to be sending us to our match of the week quicker than we expected. It's all going to happen on the Rift now. So you see both top laners fighting each other. Nani going to back himself away. And again, something that we see all the time. Going to start with that tier. I do like this pickup. It means that you can go into the Fimbo Winter, which is a very powerful item. And it also just helps you with the sustain in lane.
Win is so good for Gragas. Just the fact that one of the big things is when you go tank Gragas, you sort of have mana issues, because if you go AP, you can build like an Everfrost or something, and then you have that providing all the mana. But all time Gragas is like going to tank items often doesn't provide mana unless you grab things like Frozen Heart, which can be a bit unwieldy. So remember, when a great addition, you get that shield whenever you slow or immobilize a target, which is 3 abilities out of your kit. It just fits him so well. And obviously, if you have a large mana pool, whenever you cast your abilities, you get health back. So it kind of just works out in that way. I like to see Bin actually not even warding the blue. He just stands there and watches it, right? He's the human ward, making sure they know where Shun is starting. And I think that's important, right? We saw Shun have a great early game, a great game in general in game 1. And we said Shun a bust, right? So they want to know where he is. They want to track him.
That's the big thing. They want to know exactly where he's going, where he's going to try and make an impact, as we can see Nani. Also, I just said, I don't mind that as well, because he knows he's going to lose the push. It's just going to happen. There's nothing he can do, even if he's at the lane right as it hits the edge of tower range. It does not matter what he does in this lane. So very, very nicely done there by him to make sure they have pretty decent idea of what they're going, and we're not going to have a horizontal map either, so both junglers happy enough to take up their own farm, and Yukai seeing if he can put down some ward will get the early vision onto Wei, and again, good little tabs being kept up, and this is something that we never really got to notice, but when RNG were being kept down by anyone's legend, it was because anyone legend were keeping tabs on Wei.
I just love the fact we have these human wards coming in. Like, they'll walk in and spot for themselves. They won't bother waiting the ward. And honestly, it makes sense, right? Instead, Yukai puts his ward down in that position, covering the sort of entrance to the jungle. So a bit of a better spot overall. But they are keeping track of the junglers. They need that awareness. And it's particularly important for Yukai. I think this game is heavily going to be dictated by whether or not he can stabilize mid and be safe, right? You can see he's doing fine trading with Xiao, who 1v1. That's expected. It's when ganks start to come in that's a little bit concerning. But speaking of ganks, Jean is looking top.
He's looking top, and he's bypassed the ward as well, so Bin going to be in a lot of trouble. Nani will have the flash body slam available to him. Doesn't even need the flash, as Bin recognizes he just needs to push this wave. He's dead to rights. There's nothing he can do. We've seen this before. First blood going over to Sean on the top side.
Yeah, I mean, he just knew there was no way he was getting out. The lane is way too long, way too much opportunity for Sean to catch. So he doesn't bin anything. He just clears as much of the wave he can. I think it's the correct call, but yeah, overextended, got caught out. The ward did not cover him in that situation. And considering how much effort they went into tracking John's start, right? They knew exactly where he was going to path towards. A little bit criminal that you still get caught out by a gank.
Get caught out by a gank. Well, speaking of getting caught out by a gank, it's going to be the Felios trying to trade this one back. The exhaust does come out, so they get the cleanse and the exhaust. Good summoner trade there in favor of RNG, but this bot lane is still very powerful. And very quickly, while we're on the bot lane, Gala got his 1000th kill today. I'm not exactly sure when he got it, but he did get it. So congratulations to Gala, already hitting up those record boards, seeing as many kills he can get.
Yeah, really solid performance, honestly. I think there was 5 big kills he got in a pentakill that I remember you always like to talk about.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking? Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, so far though, IG looking pretty positive, right? They're actually up in gold on that first kill, but Yukai hasn't really been threatened mid, been stable. As much as we saw those summoners bid in the bot lane, they didn't bid any flashes, and those summoners are short of cooldown, so it's positive. It's still early, but yeah, I think IG doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing fine. But again, this is what's similar to what we saw in game 1. IG having a great early game, got 6 kills about the 15-minute mark. We're able to get 2 of those kills onto, or 2 of those deaths, I should say, onto Bin. As he now goes toe-to-toe with Nani. But it didn't translate into an awful lot after that. It was the kill into objective, and this is what we always talk about. The very easy way of telling between a good team and a great team is a good team will get a kill, and that's the objective. A great team will turn that kill into an objective. A dragon, a tower, a baron sometimes as well. A nexus, you know, that's what happened the last time.
Objective.
I wonder if you get any objective bounty for that, but that's the big thing. So I want to see what IG can do. The having shut down this bot side, but that just means that Bin knows he's fully okay to be very aggressive in this top lane.
Yeah, and he just keeps harassing Nani down. Now, he just have biscuits available, so he should be able to sustain up. And obviously his passive is doing a lot of work as well, but Bin unrelenting, but he just wants to get a shove in, low on mana. He doesn't really want to overstay any more than he needs to. Will likely just reset off the back of this. And Xiao now 6 available, does pose even more threat in the mid lane. But again, the vision control's been solid around mid. The control's been pretty decent. Yukai's been okay just farming up, and he's holding up pretty well in terms of CS. The only real discrepancy is in the bot lane. And I think a big reason for that is because of those summoners being down, but also just the general threat, right? Anytime Ming walks up, you're thinking, is Wei here? Can he lantern him in? Can he threaten and engage? And as a result, you can see yourself getting zoned off a decent amount of farm.
Oh, Xiaohu needs to be very careful. He's going to have to invest his own flash to keep himself safe and alive. Wei is there, and he's just going to try and dissuade this Xin Zhao, but Shun is not deterred. He will keep pushing forward, and that is just a big advantage now. Xiaohu losing his flash this early is going to be very, very detrimental for his roaming capacity.
Yeah, really nice for Yukai as well. No longer have to deal with that, but I just really love the mechanics of what Jean did there. So stacked up, his Q on the clone, so then he could flash instantly knock up.
Oh, Nani, that was so nice. He nearly gets himself a solo bolo in top side, but with Wei here to try and just keep him away, he's not going to overcommit to it. But Nani, that was slick.
Yeah, and he trades summoners, right? Trades flashes, and because he chunked Bin out, the dive wasn't really going to be possible, so nothing comes from it, and IG able to secure the dragon on the bot side essentially for free. Really nice play from Nenny there.
This is a bit more positive from IG in the early game. They're going toe-to-toe in these lanes and coming out on top. And again, Wei's not having the impact he had in Game 1. In Game 1, he was bot side, getting summoners like Flash, getting themselves back into the ascendancy, but not really having that same impact. And look, it's to be expected. He is on the Viego, which does rely very heavily on that Heartbreaker, which has just been hit right now. But this is a big moment right now for the side of IG. You've got yourself... You're still behind in goal, but you've got yourself a little small advantages. You need to make the most of them.
And the main thing is that they're not falling massively behind, which was my concern, right? Especially Xiaohu and LeBlanc. So it hold up okay. Nani makes the decision to back off instead of overstaying in the top lane, which I respect. Doesn't want to get caught out. But we do see Wei and Xiaohu now fishing for Yukai. He should just back off here and should be safe. Always have to be a little bit concerned.
Is he safe, though? He's going to have to probably invest his flash right now. He does, but he waits a little bit too long. They're able to trade him back out. Xiaohu takes up the kill in mid lane. Nice combination there between the mid and jungle of RNG.
Man, I saw it as well. Like, he just had to clear the wave, walk away, and then he was like, oh, I can trade with Xiaohu here. And I was like, no, please, man. You did so well. Just don't. And this is kind of, you know, the thing, right? It's so easy for the gang setup to come in, throw LeBlanc kind of a Victor. He's now flashless, a little bit concerning. It's definitely later than I think RNG would have won, but it's still, you know, 9 minutes in the game. There's still plates open and available. Now that the flash has been burned from Yukai, he has to play so careful, so safe. And if they can start to capitalize on that, we can start to see them spread their pressure around the map. Look to dive this bot lane in particular. If you have a Seraphine bot, very easy setup just to blow her up as soon as you get under tower.
Be careful, though. There is some pretty decent lockup here from the side of IG. The big AoE ultimates as well for the Moonlight Vigil alongside the Seraphine ult can be pretty devastating. IG, though, going to use this opportunity to get themselves a Rift Herald, and Shun has been very quick on the map. He's been very good at this early stage to be ahead of Wei, get those objectives and try and make something snowball. You're going to see the Super Mega Death Rocket come out, and now Xiaohu G's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to back away from this turret, and that's just going to be free plates in the bot side.
Yeah, I mean, they have to respect this. You have to back away. You know the dive potential is there, and this is going to mean more and more advantages for Gala. I still think it's okay, right, at the end of the day, that you do have a really strong scaling lane with the Seraphine in particular, but we'll have to see what Shun can do with the Rift Herald sort of capitalize on the advantage they got top, because right now it looks like Gala is probably just going to pick up as much plates as it's worth. In fact, look, 3 plates down bot lane. So at the end of the day, you know, Herald is worth 2 plates. If you just use it to take that, wouldn't exactly be favorable in terms of trading.
And that's the big thing. Yes, it can lead into a tower, but you look at all these lanes. Top lane, about 20 CS behind. Mid lane, about 10 CS behind. Bot lane, 20 CS. These are all lanes that are effectively losing in the CS department. So this is a very difficult objective to make stick for you.
Oh, Yukai.
Oh, Yukai, you've no flash and you've nowhere to go. He's going to drop down the gravity field, but he's already been flayed. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But if you're on the side of IG, it's difficult, lemon difficult.
Yep, absolutely. And RNG, this is what they needed to do, right? This is what we talked about from the start. This is where you apply the pressure. Ming and Wei now moving now. And honestly, what was flawless is their pathing to purposely avoid that control ward. And it's a false sense of security, right? You guys like, I have a control ward. It's covering my the top side of my lane. I know I'm safe from there, but because they snuck in, they actually managed to catch him off guard. They get another kill. More advantages for Xiao, who's now 2-0. Oh.
Nani going in with the explosive cast, and actually the collateral damage misses. It's a solo bolo. Nani, well played, my son. Comes out with a kill.
Finds on a Bin, and Bin just a little bit disrespectful there. The thing with the Graves is that, you know, you can harass, and then sustain up with the Vamp Scepter. But if you go into those longer trades, if Nani's able to consistently get these resets off, and critically, remember, he has a Bramble Vest, so you're not actually healing that much when you're fighting him. And Bin just a bit disrespectful, but good capitalization from Nani.
Good capitalization. Did his grammar homework. That's a terrible joke, I'm sorry. That was just an awful joke that I felt I needed to make. 30 seconds until dragon spawns. I can feel you staring me down.
You got lucky. I muted to sneeze. Otherwise, I
would have been
got a
audible
town on you.
An audible takedown.
You picked your time well, I'll say that much.
That's what it's all about. Timing as a play-by-play. It's all about, you know, timing as such. But we are going to see the Rift Herald being dropped into mid lane. It is only going to be those 2 plates. It is going to be pressure, though, around this dragon. But you've bot lane pushing in. You have been with a TP advantage. This is a little bit of a risky one, but I feel like RNG just aren't in the position to contest. So good, quick moves from IG. They get themselves up to 2 dragons. Sadly for them, though, it is only a Cloud Soul.
I don't know why, but when Nini was like channeling TP, I don't know why, I was just like, imagine if Ming just flash hugs him now. Like, how rad would that be? But no, he's sensible. He wants to win this game. But yeah, I mean, RNG aren't really too concerned about giving the dragon over. They feel confident that they can sort of capitalize later. They don't want to overcommit to a fight in that situation when they have to deal with the Herald. But it's good play from IG, right? Using the Herald, yes, 2 plates isn't that much, right? We said they would be trading down if they only got the 2. But because they use it to translate into the dragon, it's still pretty solid. Now, it is a Cloud Soul, but I still think it has a fair bit of value in this game. And things like Aphelios and Victor can definitely benefit from the movement speed. But all in all, RNG still significantly ahead. Oh, Root coming in.
Root coming in. There's the encore. They're going to be able to land up the beat drop as well. Double beat drop, but while that's been happening, they now just pile in onto Nani, who gets a good flash away and able to use his belly bot, but the Heartbreaker takes him down. It took 3 members of RNG, but to get the job done.
Yep. And that's the power of the LeBlanc, right? You bring it into the side lane, very easy to capitalize, very hard to get away when there's double dashes coming out and the CC lockdown, even though the chain didn't connect there. On the other side, they are looking to threaten here. Remember, no cleanse available for Gala now.
No cleanse, but no encore either. No Moonlight Vigil, big AoE ultimates that you're just not going to have available to you. Too risky.
Remember, he was very close to being Unleashed TP being available. If they went for a longer dive there, we could actually see Finn and Zhao who join on the back of that. So
with no response from IG, yeah, they are at the teleport disadvantage as of right now. So again, big moments there for RNG, and despite them losing all 3 major objectives that have been on the neutral side of things, they are still ahead by about 4,000 gold. They're going to be able to pick up this turret. It's going to be 4,500, if not 5,000 gold. Way back down towards this bot side, just making sure that everything's all said and done, and Gala denying as many minions as possible, doing the best he can do to make sure that this Aphelios never becomes the 200 years Aphelios that we know and love.
Yeah, and I mean, RNG just doing such a good job at like accruing these gradual advantages, setting situations up so they can get these towers and letting their laners flourish. Now, as a result, this is a 5,000 gold lead with a 3-2 kill score, right? Hugely substantial, and it's getting pretty scary, right? We have a gold bounty on Gala. He's currently 1,500 gold up. We have mid lane 1,000 gold up. Top lane 1,500 gold up despite getting solo killed, and now, yeah,
that's LeBlanc things. So you gotta remember, in a poke meta, it's pretty good to have poke champions, but when you have an assassin, still got an assassin. So I think for Xiao Wu Ji, that's just a little bit unfortunate. Loses flash in that as well.
Like, that's the thing, is that Xiao Wu can still land on some decent poke if he like double dashes in and goes for a combo. But yeah, I mean, Xiao really doing a lot of work right now. We said this guy has been stepping up this roster massively since his transition to the mid lane, and he is performing really well, right? And on this LeBlanc, a little bit slow to start. The 1v1 matchup isn't really the best for LeBlanc, but has found these abilities to set up kills. Now 3-0-1. IG gonna look towards this Rift Herald. RNG could call them out on this. TP available to Xiao, so he's reset, and we'll see if they opt to go for it. It looks like they are.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to say, look, we call you out on your bluff, and we know you can't really go for this while the bot lane's being pushed in. They get the double up there, but it's not really going to land onto anybody. It's a bit separated right now from the side of IG. Aphelios is not with his team. It will be the Rift Herald's taken. Good hook there. That's onto the Seraphine. He goes in there with the flay, drops down to the exhaust. They're going to use the encore to try and get it, but Gala now getting a little bit excited. You can see him with these resets. He's trying to just get the damage, and you cannot run away from Gala. He is going to chase you down on this Jinx and keep getting those resets. Where are you going? It's all too clear. You're going back to the fountain. RNG, they lose the Rift Herald, but they do not care because a Super Mega Jet Rocket from downtown sets up Xiao Hu. RNG are firmly in the driver's seat, and they get themselves the ace.
an ace there, and IG wanted the fight. They were ready for it, but they were so split, right? WBG was just nowhere near the team, allowed Xiaohu to burst them out, and then how are you going to win a fight when the Aphelios is nowhere near, right? This was already stacked against them. They were already 5,000 gold down, and on top of that, they opt to go in a scenario that's just never going to work. So, like, we watch the replay. The Aphelios, you can't even see him, right? That's how far away he is from his team. He finally comes in the field of view, and Xiaohu just completely chunks him out. Look at Xiaohu on the side, right? He just cannot be in this fight right now. The chain misses, so he survives. But all this fighting going on either side, they just don't have the damage to continue. Yukai gets chased down by Gala, and now you have this fully stacked lethal tempo Jinx who's just shredding down with resets. It was really... okay, I gotta say, it wasn't really gonna be a good fight for IG just because of the goal difference, but they gave it the worst odds possible by setting up in that way.
It just really isn't going their way, and RNG now firmly in the lead, nearly an 8,000 gold lead, just shy of it. They will have the Dragon as well. They are going to try and trade this off in the top side. They still have Rift Herald, so they can take a turret, but all these turrets are relatively healthy. You have objective bounties, but what can you do with it? And with everyone in this top lane, I feel like Bin just needs to back away. He doesn't need to be here. He can just let this tower go, because look at the rest of the map. Actually, to say that, RNG, if I look at the rest of the map, are trying to come up here to defend.
Yeah, they're potentially toying with the idea, but realistically, they don't need to, right? Waves are going mid, waves are going bot. They don't have to lean so heavily, but Ming will come up to make sure Bin is covered. I mean, there's such an 8,000 gold lead now. Xiaohu has a Medjais with 10 stacks, and then he's tanky enough to sort of like withstand it, but he is so threatening to any squishy targets. Level 13, right? If you find Lucas 5 levels down, that much damage, he's just dead.
Yeah, straight up will die, and it's not really a great time right now for IG. RNG firmly in control, and again, we talk about what we, wanted to see from these teams coming into this. For IG, it was seeing if they could be more than just a one-note team, and I feel like Nani has shown up in this game. Shun has definitely still done Shun things, but for RNG, it was about dominating their opponent. It was about coming out and looking like the very clear favorites, as Yukai, in a lot of trouble, will be able to drop down the Chaos Storm, just not enough damage to keep him alive. We are going to see now Shun with Nani TPing in to see if they can maybe work something out, but they're just too far away with the belly pop being used. You're losing on all other sides of the map here, IG. You cannot overcommit for this. They will use the explosive cast, but it won't knock Bing back far enough. He will flash away. There's the Encore coming out, but it doesn't land onto anybody. The Dark Passage. Oh, man. That's just so much invested, and they lose so much more elsewhere.
Yeah, they're just chasing kills. They're desperate for them. The lead is just growing. It's now 10,000. I mean, they will throw down the Herald top and take that tower, but even then... Oh, Ming? Not sure about this one.
I'm not sure about that one, Chief. Yep, Ming dies. You know what? I've seen it from the top supports. Hung, Chris, Ming, Mako. Sometimes you just go in and die, and that's just how it is. We don't question it.
You just want to help the enemy team.
Yeah, sometimes you feel a bit bad about where the scoreline's going. We are going to see Wei with his smite just try and stop this Rift Herald charge. He will, in fact, get that done. So RNG will stop the push in top lane, but look at the rest of the map. Jinx and Gala and Xiaohu just pushing in that bot side, getting 2 tier 2 towers, so
yeah, I mean,
it's looking rough.
The towers is obviously a massive thing in terms of the gold, in terms of opening the map, but also think about how much farm is being missed whenever these plays happen, when you see all these people grouping up towards the top side, so many waves just sacrificed, and that's why there are massive CS differences. I really don't know what the game plan for Ming was there. Wei didn't have any ult. Like,
no health, really.
We can only speculate what was going on in his mind at that moment. But regardless.
Again, I give LPL support to pass every now and again. It happens to literally all of them. They just decide, like we saw in for Crisp in the last series there for BLG, where they were dominating and he just goes in on a hook with nobody and dies. It's
one of those great wonders. Like people wonder, is there life in the universe, other life? And then there's also, why do LPL supports just randomly decide to die?
Yeah, the big questions.
The big questions. Yeah, absolutely.
The mysteries of the universe, as we do like to say. Oh, Lord, we like to have fun here at the LPL. But coming back into the game, we are going to see the Baron now being threatened here by RNG. They're seeing if they can get some vision control up. And straight up, this is going to require a miracle from IG. It's going to require Xiao Wuji and of course Yukai to just absolutely get the most amazing combination of AoE ultimates, like a explosive cast into a belly bop, which is 5-man, into so much more. RNG just kind of toying with the idea. We will see Xiaohu force the flash away, but that's the explosive cast now committed, and on that bot side you have got Bin pushing that one in. So RNG not really being the cleanest around this Baron setup, and they still have to respect IG because they can still throw it away.
Yeah, Nini did a great job there, because what the goal from RNG was force IG to push through, and then you kind of pincer, right? Xiao, who comes from the side, is able to pick them off. Would have easily killed Jun there, but Nini blocked it, and then also forced Xiao Hu's flash by threatening him with a cast. So they approached that very well. It could have been an easy Baron pickup for RNG if they managed to kill the enemy jungler, but they managed to hold on for a little bit longer. Now, pingers are coming out for that dragon. I think RNG will just probably pick this one up as soon as it spawns. Maybe, I don't know. They did have an assist ping on it, but it looks like they're moving towards Baron. They're not really that concerned. Then it's not gonna. They're never really gonna get soul in this game. It doesn't feel like, unless it goes super late. And it looks like they are now moving over. Yeah, assist ping's coming out, so they'll just pick up the dragon. Why not? You know, bit of extra added combat movement speed, but actually they might have caused Jun.
And he has to use the Crescent Guard to keep himself alive, so that's definitely going to be the dragon, and they might lose this as an opportunity now to try and push and force towards that Baron side. You can see them cheating up towards there now already. Xiaohu finishing up that Shadow Flame, and just so much a little bit early on that Gala. Didn't expect, or expected Xiaohu to double the store in and try and maybe get them all low, and honestly it was as good of a play as any, because I feel like Xiaohu will literally 100-0 everyone except Nani.
Yeah, but I feel like the...
Oh, they're committing, sort of. They're actually going to get the TP there out of Yukai, and as you were saying, nothing else really happens.
Yeah, we'll see IG trying to group together, make value out of the Seraphine, but RNG will just defend. Fishing for an engage. Xiao, who's so threatening.
He is so threatening. Lucas gets tagged just barely, and you can see already just how much he's going to be able to do on top of him. Gala gets one rocket off, and they're already having to use the healing from the Seraphine. Yukai just walking around, and this is where the game gets a little bit more difficult. He's going to go straight down onto the Yukai, and he's out of this fight.
Yeah,
one distortion.
I mean, you have the sustain for the Seraphine, but I just don't think it's enough at this point. They need to back away if RNG pick and engage here.
It could be desperate. Ooh.
Oh my lord, oh my lord. The stress.
But the rest of the team, though, Gale Force has to be used defensively, and now the cleanse as well. Xiao Yuji having to use 2 massive cooldowns as they get the flash out of Shun as well. Yukai, oh sorry, he's not Yukai, Xiao Wuji, and not quite able to get the second kill. Gala does pick up one, but now you don't have flash, Crescent Guard, you got no way of getting to this pit. It feels like it's just going to be Baron.
I just don't understand why they were like opting to like 2 of them are recalling, 2 of them are staying in the jungle. It's like, all back off as a group, getting your base, reset them. Like, you can even walk back to base. It's not that important. You're not saving that much time. But just like the decision making there was so weird. Like, you have to respect this enemy team. They will just run you down. That's 11,000 gold ahead. Don't give them these free opportunities. But RNG, they punish. They're unrelenting. Now have Baron in hand that can easily set up on. And remember, there's only 1 tower outside of the base of IG left available. Yeah, like, they should know that this entire jungle is warded through, and they overstay in the situation. And then on top of that, what makes it even worse is that they save the summoners for so long, right? Like, you're flashing after the final auto is connected.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feels bad man there. And now RNG, 11,000 gold, if not 12,000 gold ahead. They are just pushing and prodding. It is starting to feel like an inevitability. Nothing really else to talk about. And where do you go? Like, again, I feel like it does feel a little bit negative on IG, but unless RNG really royally messed this up, there's just nothing you can do. And I was going to comment on how great the CS was from the top laner of Bin, despite all the pressure he got. But Gala's right there with him. Gala has 290 CS at 26 minutes. That is absurd amounts of CSing, and it just shows you how far ahead he can be. He's a full item and a half. He's literally a rapid fire cannon, i.e. above the Aphelios. That's how fed he is, and I'm going to stop myself and stop gushing over Gala's. This is going to be the last fight, I feel, from IG. They're just trying to see if they can fish for something. No Chaos Storm. There's the Encore coming out. They catch Gala, and Gala's dead. Big catch there, but it's a 4v5 because look at the mid lane. While this is happening, Vin's saying, see you later. I'm playing PvE. Got to grind out those levels, get those structures, and he's going to be able to knock down the inhibitor. So yes, you catch Gala. It's a massive shutdown. But look at the damage coming out from Xiaohu onto Nani. They will actually catch it. The Seraphine as well flashes away, pops down the exhaust to try and stay alive. Nani is dead as Bin finally joins his team and goes, oh hey guys, remember me? I'm the massively fed Graves. Yes, they lose the threshing as well, but it's going to be the Tins out falling. Bin finally joining, basically solidified that whole fight.
Yeah, they get the pick on a Gala, but they don't really have gas in the tank to follow through. When Bin finally joins, he's so strong right now, can just absolutely shred everyone. And Xiaohu's so threatening. It's like they burn a lot, they get Gala, sure, great, but you're still so far behind. Even if you take Gala's gold out the equation, I think RNG is still close to having a gold lead, which is insane to say they're that far ahead.
Just look at this replay, because again, it's a great catch here onto Gala. Gala does not have any cleanse, or excuse me, has cleanse, but as soon as that's down, they can use so much more onto him. They know he doesn't have that summoner now.
Yeah, and Lucas does a pretty good job of catching him with the ultimate. I think he just disrespected the range. Just got caught by
passing
it.
through Urukai.
I think as you overstay when like lanterns and cool things have been used, just a bit of an overstep from Gala, and now both summoners are down. But the problem is, like, even without Gala, right, RNG are still monstrously strong.
I was going to make an Attack on Titan reference because it is Attack on Titan Sunday, but it actually might be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything. So I'm just not going to say anything. I'm going to move on as the third dragon for RNG going to be taking 5th one of the game. And yeah, it feels, I will say, and this is more of a criticism on RNG than it is anything else, it does feel like this game should have been over about 5 minutes ago. This game feels like it should be done and dusted. There's not really a lot can do. It's definitely over now.
That'll do it.
That'll do. All right, cool. All right, RNG. You heard me chat. You heard me talking smack, and you decided to smack back. But again, it does feel like this game should just be over right now. Ming fishing for hooks, seeing if he can catch anything on the end. They are pushing in this mid lane, but you don't have Baron, and this is where the game starts to get a little bit more difficult. It's still an Aphelios. You still have decent wave clear, even with the Victor dead, so there's only so much you can do on this relatively short-range comp.
Yeah, I think the problem is as well is that the front to back of IG is pretty good, and if you disrespect them, you dive in and get caught by the Seraphine, you have the Aphelios AoE, you really control the game, so you have to be really careful. But then, fortunately, Lucas just throws out his ult and whiffs it, so now you feel more comfortable, right?
Yep, you do feel a lot more comfortable, but
maybe
you're going to have to see maybe a little bit too comfortable. Wei will, however, use that comfort and say, see, it's fine, totally calculated. They will finally get the siege down onto this bot lane turret. They will finally break open their second inhibitor, but at 29.5 minutes, feels a little bit too long. There we go, flash in, trying to get on top of him, and another great lantern there. The Dark Passage doing so much work, and this is why we think that Thresh is so unbelievably busted right now. He just makes up for it. Do they not get that inhibitor? How much HP is that on Observers? Please show it to me. I know you can't hear me. I know I have no control, but please, never mind, they got it.
They got it.
Okay. Thank you, Xiaohu. I was about to get very annoyed. Very, very annoyed there. But again, more and more pressure coming down to IG. They still in the game, and to add testament to something that Draco said yesterday in the LEC, it's not over till the fat lady sings, but she's warming up. She's getting ready.
It does feel pretty doomed though, right? I'm gonna bring you snap back to reality. It does feel pretty rough, but RNG are taking it slow, and that does give more windows to IG. But it's 8 towers to 1, 15 kills to 7, 13,000 gold lead. Soul coming up in 250, but I think Baron is the priority now. And we talked about before, not having the Baron made things pretty hard to push in. Oh no, it's getting, oh my. You know, honestly, Xiaohu missed the chains on Shun, hit it on Lucas. If he kept going, probably would have killed him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do worry though. Again, this is a bit of a 8 turrets to 1, 3 dragons to 2, a 13,000 gold lead. This should be over. This game shouldn't even exist on the map right now. 14 stacks Medjais for Xiaohu. Basically a full item Jinx and full item
they're waiting
Bin.
for 25 stack Medjais, right? You need to fill the book.
Stats upon stats upon stats. Stat dash, as the NFL would say. But yeah, Baron taken. This is probably, hopefully, touch wood, going to be the final push coming out now for RNG. And this is the thing, and as much as I like to meme it and say that RNG should be winning this right now, the longer this game goes, the less relevant that gold lead becomes. And this is where it gets a little bit scary because the victor is still getting big. The Aphelios will get the 3 items if you don't end this on this Baron push. And that's where the game becomes a bit more of a coin flip.
Yeah, give IG another 30 minutes and they will be ready to
Not even
fight.
30, I think 5,
Yeah.
honestly. Look, here we go. TP coming in, but they notice it straight away. They have wards on it. Nani is trying to come in on top of this and maybe look for some kind of engage. They drop
Look
the
at bottom
box.
mid.
And look at bottom mid. They've got the 2 solo laners there from Xiaohu and Bin just pushing this one in. They will take down the mid inhibitor one more time. Now, Super Minions flooding into that Nexus, flooding in to try and take down these Nexus turrets. They stand, but only by a hair's length. Finally, the final turret does fall in the outer turret lane. As we can see now, Bin going in, trying to use the collateral damage. Will not get the kill, but again, getting excited on the Jinx means that you get those extra attack damage. 1 turret remains, 1 structure remains, and that's no health bar whatsoever. The Encore whiffs through as Bin goes golden to keep themselves alive. Nady is dead. All structures are done and dusted. RNG are going to finally take the game, take the series, and they will end this week with a 2-0.
It's a slow one, but they made sure they didn't take the risk, right? They slowly played it out with the Baron, had their solo laners push the waves in, and then started to corral them in like lambs to slaughter at the end. Executed well at the end. It was, as I said, slow going. They definitely amassed a pretty significant goal lead and then took a while to work with it. But I think a lot of that was down to respect for the enemy composition. At the end of the day, RNG did not want to give over a game like they did like against anyone's legend. They wanted to secure that 2-0 convincingly.
Yeah, the Year of the Tiger, the little tiger in the mid lane, did a lot of damage at the end stage. And I still think there's a couple of question marks over RNG, the decision making around how they should have ended that game. It should have been an awful lot cleaner than it was.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some criticism we can lay down, but I feel like we're seeing smart play out of RNG, and I think that's my main positive thing for them is the fact that they're accruing these leads because they're playing the map well, right? They've understood how the comp wants to work. They know which lanes need pressure. I think that's the main thing I'd say that they nailed today was they knew which lanes need pressure, and they're very good at setting up for it. I think particularly because Wei and Ming are such a good pair together and good at affecting the map wherever they want it. Game 1, they needed the gang spot lane. They set that up. They made sure the Caitlyn Lux got punished. Game 2, they knew that mid needed to have a bit of pressure so that they could allow Xiaohu to move around the map, and they set that up. I think that was probably the issue for IG is, right, in that Game 1, they had the Cait Lux and didn't really set up for it. So still a lot to work on for IG. There was moments we saw where there was like, okay, there's positive aspects here, but overall, it definitely looked like a pretty sizable advantage for RNG in terms of the matchup strength.
Yeah, it did feel at no real point did RNG lose the momentum that they had built up. It felt like they were in total control throughout pretty much all of the game, apart from that first game early stage. So great for them. They go into a 2-0, and then they can get ready for, like we said, their big test coming out next week. They place BLG, in just before Chinese New Year, the last game before we go on a little bit of a 2-week hiatus. Because, you know, the LPL starts, it doesn't stop, but then it stops for a little bit and comes back. And that's how we work it on this side of things. But again, still very good for them. 4-1 now in the standings and climbing pretty steadily. They just need to, if they can keep winning while still figuring stuff out, this team will be formidable. And it's, again, why we have to keep keeping tabs on them the longer we go on to the season.
For sure. And I think that's the thing is that it's not a rush, right? I know we have huge expectations for RNG, and I know we felt like, right, they've kept AD carry the same, they've kept jungle the same, they kept supports the same, they moved the top laner to mid and got into top laner. It feels like this team shouldn't have missed a beat, but they did. But that's fine, right? You have time to develop things over the season. The meta has shifted. Just, I think this team is looking like they are gearing up to be a solid contender in playoffs, and I think that's where the expectation should lie. For IG, it's rougher, right? It's definitely
Aphelios
rougher.
Damage. Ugh.
Yeah, that is
nice,
not too
but
positive. I think, you know, there was good one. I think Nani performed really well in this game. I think there's credit there. I think Yukai did a pretty solid job despite the pressure that was applied mid. There were some mistakes, obviously, and he got jumped on. But considering how game 1 went in the mid lane, I expected him to get bullied a lot more and punished. But I think IG have some shining lights. It's just they aren't on the level of RNG, and I think it is going to be them working up over time as well, right?
Yeah, and again, like for IG, this is a rebuild. This is a from the ground up. Like, you look at every single one of these players, none of these are from the original roster that won in 2018. They've lost the Shy, Rookie, Baolan. They are, they lose everything that they've worked towards. And this is why we have to figure out what they are, who they are, and what they can do coming into the rest of the season. I feel like it is very much, as you mentioned, a development split, something they can work on throughout and improve on from as well. Like, maybe pick up a new whatever. I'm not going to mention the position because people will take it out of context. So picking up different pieces to work with the current pieces, that's how you build that roster. It's something similar to what we've seen OMG do so far this split as well.
For sure. And, again, like John said, John a bust, but like you have to credit him, right? Similar to how we had Japong on TT when we had all those situations where he was like super aggressive setting up the jungle plays. It was like it was him or bust, and then he ends up getting moved to a different roster and actually performing pretty well. So there's still a lot to be seen, but I'm feeling pretty positive overall.
I think so. I think a lot of people can be positive. I think if RNG can take the win against BLG next week, that is a massive vote of confidence to your entire endeavor throughout the split. And again, like we mentioned at the start of this matchup, this is a team, this is an organization that expects championships. They expect to be going to MSI to defend their title. Don't forget, they are still the reigning MSI champions. The LPL has the MSI and World Champions both in their leagues. So we are going to send it over to Wendy, though, who's sitting by with Gala for an interview.
Hello everyone, welcome to interview, and now we have invited Gala from RNG to join us. So congratulations on this 2-0 victory, and now RNG is on 4 winning streak. Tell us more about why this RNG is so strong currently. 那首先恭喜你们今天很漂亮，用一个2-0拿下了比赛的胜利。那现在 RNG 也来到了4连胜，所以说 Gala 能不能和我们分享一下，你觉得能让现在的这个 RNG 打得这么好，状态这么火热的一个原因是什么呢？
我觉得就是我们每场比赛打完嘛，就是会总体的一个复盘嘛，然后就是不管是输赢都会去找问题，然后努力就是把我们团队就是做的就是往完美的方向去做嘛，然后就可以越打越好。
So I think the reason for us to have such a good performance currently is because we have a very detailed feedbacks after every single matchups. No matter whether we lost or we win the matchup, we'll have very good feedback. And after this, we try to find out where we made the mistakes and make some adjustments or the changes. We try our best to have a very perfect game in every single matchup. So I think that's a reason. Yeah, definitely you guys have shown us a perfect performance today. And in game 2, I want to talk a bit more about the champion choice, because in game 2, the opponent's team, they have chosen the Seraphine support. It's definitely not a hot pick currently, so I'm very curious about your perspective towards the Seraphine support. 那其实说到今天的第2场比赛，对面选出了一个当前版本不是很常见的辅助英雄萨勒芬妮嘛，然后呢，所以说在打完了第2局之后，也比较好奇Gala选手可能对目前版本的一个辅助萨勒芬妮有怎么样的一个看法呢？
这个英雄因为我们平时训练排位都很少碰到嘛，然后就是这个英雄就是当对面选出来的时候，我们就比较懵，然后觉得就是这英雄应该是个比较打团比较厉害的英雄嘛，就是团那中就给队友 buff 的英雄。
I think in the current scrim and also in our solo ranks, definitely Seraphine support is not a hot pick. It's not commonly to be seen in all the matchups. So that when the opponent's team, they have chosen Seraphine, they have locked down this champion, we really feel a bit unexpected and we're quite surprised about it. But I think Seraphine can be a very strong pick in the team fights. She can really perform so good in all the team fights. I think that's the strength of this champion. Yeah, thank you for the sharing. And my next question is about the team fight from you guys. In game 2, around the second Rift Herald, while the opponent's team tended to get the Rift Herald, you were able to find a super good opportunity to just like kill all of them and also control the whole situation. So tell us more about that team fights, what's communications made from RNG. 那接下来想问一下关于第2局的非常漂亮的一波团战，就是第2条先锋团。其实对面是拿到先锋的一个情况之下呢，你们是非常好的抓到了一波机会，然后呢，从那一波之后就感觉你们完全控制住了局势。所以说，能问一下，当时那波第2波的先锋团，你们是怎么来进行沟通和处理的呢？
我们那波先锋团就是我们先把就是兵线先吃掉嘛，然后过去就看情况打，就是对面如果 就是上头的话，我们就可以看情况反打，然后就是看情况打嘛，就算没打起来的话，我们也不会亏。
So at that time, we tended to clean all the waves, and after that, we tended to find some opportunity to make the hard engagement if the opponent's team they would like to engage on us, because we just made our adjustments based on the real situation, because we feel like even there was not a team fight around the Rift Herald, we still can be able to control the situation. So that's the communication we made during the Rift Herald team fight. Yeah, thank you for the sharing. And my last question is, after today's game, Gala, you have reached the milestone of 1,000 kills in LPL. It's definitely a long journey. So I'm very curious about your thoughts, and maybe do you have any words you want to say to all the fans that's supporting you and also supporting RNG? 那最后一个问题也是，其实，在今天的比赛结束之后，我们 Gala 也解锁了在 LPL 的千杀成就。在恭喜 Gala 的同时呢，其实我们也觉得这是一段比较漫长的旅程，所以说也想问一下 Gala 有没有此时此刻有没有什么想法，同时有没有什么想要对一直支持你、支持 RNG 的粉丝朋友们说的？
就想着就是希望以后就是可以杀更多嘛，然后往更高的成就去那个打，然后就谢谢一直以来支持我还有 RNG 的粉丝们，就谢谢大家，我们会努力越打越好的。
So I really would like to just kill more enemies, to just reach the even higher, to have more milestones in LPL. And also the thing that I want to say to all the fans, that I really appreciate all the supports and love from the fans. Definitely we'll try our best in the future in every single matchups. So thank you for the sharing and congratulations again. 那再次的恭喜你们，也希望在未来的我们 Gala 也能够大杀四方。So back to you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Wendy. And it's as simple as that, Ox. Beat champions, kill champions. Easy. Keep doing it. That was kills.
You were criticizing my analysis earlier about
I know.
just the simple things, right?
I
Straightforward.
put my hands up. Put my hands
Destroy
up
their
and
nexus.
said,
It's that easy.
it is that easy, man. And look, that's why you're the analyst and I'm just the play-by-play. You tell me the how to do it, I tell you what's happening. But what is happening right now is we're going to be putting some praise onto the man in the mid lane, the little tiger of RNG, Xiao, who was our man of the Rift. Honestly, it wasn't really going to be anyone else. 6-0-4. Just a monster on this LeBlanc, and you just couldn't really move anywhere for IG without expecting him to be there.
Yeah, really found the momentum in this game. Credit to Wei and Ming for setting up the laning phase and getting it rolling a bit more. Obviously, LeBlanc really excels when she's allowed to set up ganks for her team, and then he just had so much presence. This is obviously that first one where they're able to find Yukai here, but then he just followed on from there, right? Once he got Xiao Hu a lead, he'd go into side lanes and pick people off, constantly find those sort of isolated members to kill.
Yeah, big movements that were made where we're very much Xiaohu integral kind of set up for. And even just stuff like this, just straight up finding a small opportunity. Nothing else is happening on the map. No one else is really in trouble. And except for IG, they were in a lot of trouble, specifically on the Felios. Xiao Wuji not having a very good game.
Yeah, it was just a rough one. And honestly, I think RNG played their comp to a T. A little bit slower, maybe. We talked about how I was thinking they'd get things rolling a bit early in the mid lane, but they were kind of risk averse, right? And I made this comment about EDG as well, where there were plays they could have gone for and they held back. And I think at the end of the day, you're a top team playing against one of the weaker teams. There's no point to take these unnecessary risks when they can backfire, right? Take the higher percentage play, and I feel like that's what RNG were doing.
That sounds very LCK of you. I don't think I approve of that messaging coming into this one, but we'll see how it ends up all working out. We are going to send it to a quick break, but when we return, we have our match of the week. Rookie on V5 going up against Top Esports Knight. This is not a mid lane matchup you want to list. We'll see you soon.
To thrive in the LPL, teams must find a true leader. Someone who will not falter in the face of adversity. Someone who has seen the hardships and fought through them all. One who will stop at nothing to achieve every victory. A player's ceiling is always attributed to their age, but I'm telling you right now, age is only a number, and it's one that does not define V5's rookie. Measly barriers like that will not hold him back.
这位选手的话，就他风格也偏就是打法比较进攻型的选手嘛。因为我跟他对战好几次，我每次赢的时候都是我中路有线权的时候，就比较好赢。
Blast themselves into this game. UB in the middle of everyone. Rookie looking for more in the backline. Jump forward and finish the save. The double kill. And I sure hope so he would win. And boy is she the triple for Rookie as he gives us a masterclass.
2021 was not a year of victory for Victory 5, but this year, some of the greatest LPL puzzle pieces have come together to ensure that will not be the case again. The deadly duo of Rookie and Karsa was a huge addition in the offseason, and they are here to make their mark for V5.
Stay here, damage across the team. Carson needs to look at the steal. Does not have splash available. Double smite available, you're right. He has one as well, and Carson gets it. Rookie with a kill. Mew chased down as well. There's no way he can escape.
Former brothers now cross swords. Jackie Love must arm himself to the teeth and prepare to take down once fond friends. And there will be no backing down this time. When pride is on the line, there can only be one winner.
Sets up